¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. Michael Hasser, Q Bennett, Heat, how's it going? Echo Rest of Dragon, welcome, everybody. Hey, how's it going? There we go. Ali with the 12 biddies. Restream bot. Oh, is it, I don't know why. For some reason... From time to time, it will do that. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, there it is. All right. Let's do another test. Hey, there it is. The bot's back. All right. We definitely have a few things to talk about. And make sure I got everything going here. Folks, if you're on the YouTube, like the stream. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. End of year. Or end of year. Oh, I guess it is technically end of year, right? End of month. There will be a holiday themed movie night event. Make sure you join the Discord. And if for no other reason, you can just join the Discord to keep up with the channel. The News Nation debate. Is it today, the GOP debate? I mean, quite frankly, there's going to be a lot of people covering it, so... It is. All right, so the clown show is on today. On tonight. Personally, I think, I would just find your, favorite streamer and just kind of hang out. Yeah, about 25 days. Just stay on Twitch, use up that sub. Oh no, I can't go through that. Like, streaming the whole show and then going like back to back, like marathon streaming to to do the debate. Oh no. Oh no. I don't think I have the stamina for that. I don't have the streaming stamina for that. You may see me at the Majority Reports chat. I believe they're doing a stream. The GOP debate needs some singing. Take YouTube's job. But I am on YouTube. I'm on both. I think I think it's fine now to multi-stream, right? TYT is having Jank Marianne and the other one running. Doug Phillips. They're having all three while the GOP debate is happening. Like, are they effectively like hosting a pseudo debate? or covering the GOP debate. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, folks, we got news to go through. It's either TYT or YouTube. Yeah, just head on over to your favorite channel and just either sit back and enjoy the commentary. I don't know if I could just like sit through and just watch the debate by itself. Doesn't look like a particularly appealing thing to do. I'm teasing it's the Take Our Jobs joke from South Park. All right, folks, we have a few things to cover.
You would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Last night, Donald Trump was on Sean Hannity for a town hall, which was more like an advertisement for the Trump campaign. So there is one moment here that I have to show you because Sean Hannity's not going to be asking Trump too many tough questions. But here he tries to get, this isn't even a tough question. He is trying to get Trump to simply say, no, I will not be a dictator. And Trump is unwilling to do so. And he's asked this a couple of times. So I'm going to get to Trump's response here. Hannity, of course.
He admits it, yeah. How long does day one last? It just has to last once, right? Because on day one, or if you're a dictator for one day, I mean, that's all you need, right? Biden primary challengers to appear in televised event after the GOP debate. Okay, so this is after the Democratic candidates Williamson, Phillips, and Uyghur will appear together on the Progressive News network, The Young Turks, on Wednesday night in response to the fourth GOP debate taking place in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The network, which has more than 5.6 million YouTube subscribers, said it would give the three candidates a platform to speak about their agenda, policy positions, and respond to the GOP debate. Okay, so they're going to do like live react, I guess. The program will start right after. Oh, no. Okay, wait a minute. No, yeah, it's a response. It's a response, not a react. The program will start after the GOP debate is scheduled to end at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. No way could I last to stream from now all the way to 10 p.m. I guess I could. I would have to like start playing video games or something. I would definitely not be able to do politics for 5 straight hours from beginning to end. including covering and reacting and responding to the GOP debate. No thanks. Yeah, I need some Red Bull at minimum. At minimum. The event is scheduled to last for an hour and a half and will be hosted by the TYT anchor John Iadorla, a left-wing pundit who co-hosts both the network's main show and his own program, The Damage Report. And vodka, just oh man, what are those called? Not Jaeger bombs. Red Bull and vodka, they have a name, don't they? I'm pretty sure that's a drink, isn't it? The name escapes me if it is. Probably, I'll just call it yummy. It sounds like a good drink, okay? Never mind, like, just how bad freaking Red Bull is for you. Like, never mind that. It's actually pretty tasty. I remember when this was, like, at the apex of being a thing. They're pretty freaking good, okay? It tastes good. Quote, upholding democracy is part of TYT value, and TYT's values and coverage is format is in response to the Democratic establishment not doing anything to ensure that primary candidates are heard. Instead, the party is promoting an unhealthy primary. TYT will take this opportunity to inform voters of their choices and give the megaphone to primary candidates. The Florida Democratic Party left all three candidates off the primary ballot. The state Democratic Party's executive committee voted on October 29th to only include Biden on the ballot, a move that prompted all three White House hopefuls to consider. Like, so wait, so what is like what is the point? What is the point? So there's only Biden on, so you can only choose Biden. Got it. Cenk Uygur, the TYT's founder and CEO, is running in the Democratic primary, says the three candidates are on the same mission. Uygur, unlike Williamson and Phillips, have to battle for ballot access in various states due to status as naturalized citizen born in Istanbul, Turkey. Uygur, who had previously gained ballot access in Arkansas, won't appear on its ballot next year. According to the AP, he hopes to adjudicate the issue of its qualifications to the courts. Anyways, so yeah, I see that they're going to make a response after the fact. The vaudeville, Raging Bull, Speedball, Liquid Cocaine, and the Heart Attack Special, to name a few, but never quite caught on. Eventually became known as simply a vodka Red Bull or Red Bull vodka. Really? That's... Oh, come on. They didn't even have, like, a name for it, like a Jaeger bomb? Because the Jaeger bomb is Jaeger and Red Bull. I remember that. Boring. Exactly. If the drink is too strong, nah, it'll be alright. It's just vodka. It's just vodka and a little Red Bull. It'll be alright.
It is uncomfortable in the exchange. But I'll also get to, as I've discussed actually in a couple other videos, what is on Trump's own website that is clearly stating he is going to abuse power. But first, let's get to the first time he was asked about, will he abuse his power as president if he wins in 2024?
Because
that's a pretty, like, straightforward question, right? That's a pretty straightforward question. Combining depressants with stimulants, be careful. Nah, it's not like a... It's not strong enough. We probably should move on, but best vodka? Best vodka? I don't know. I don't drink too much vodka. I'm gonna be honest. Personally, I like rum more than I do vodka. So to me, it's just any cheap vodka that I can mix with something, like Sprite or something. Usually is what works because I'm not too picky. Trump is the orange spray tan dictator. Remember, Trump wants an apology from the DOJ and Jack Smith. That's not even the worst thing.
See what the media is doing now. I will put a montage together. They want to call you a dictator. You use the words, I am your retribution. And now before that, you said if you've been wronged, and you used other words as well.
You know, they keep calling you a dictator because, like, you keep doing dictator things. And are you willing to go on the record to, clear the air and say that you're not going to do said dictator things? Like, nah, day one.
But I want to be very, very clear on this. To be clear, do you in any way have any plans whatsoever, if reelected president, to abuse power, to break the law, to use the government?
Like, all he has to do is, like, if he was, like, a rational, like, honest actor, he would be like, why are you asking this? Of course not. Like, what are you talking about? Can't do it.
Government to go after people?
You mean like they're using right now? So, in the history of our country,
I mean, like they're using right now. That's not what he asked you, bro. That's literally not what he asked you. He's not asking if the Democratic Party is, or the Democrats or the Biden administration is using is abusing government or whatever. He's asking you if that's what you would do, or if that's something that you're open to doing. Conscious Canuck, I love how Kennedy asked him like a 4-year-old. Yeah, like the literal most like basic, like softball, like straight to the point question. It's about as unambiguous as it gets.
what's happened to us, again, has never happened before. Over nonsense, over nothing, made up charges. I often say Al Capone.
Made up charges. Well, no, they're not made up. They're a part of the criminal code. That's why you're being investigated, because there's sufficient evidence to warrant said investigation that you were breaking said criminal code. That's why we're here, dude. You did this to yourself.
He was one of the greatest of all time, if you like criminals. He was.
What? Oh, man. It's like Michael Jackson sleeping with small children question.
Was a mob boss, the likes of which Scarface, they call him. And he got indicted once. I got indicted 4 times.
All right, so
Okay. He only got indicted once. I got indicted 4 times. Trump loving audience for Hannity and Tucker gave up as Trump's favorite interviewer. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he would still do an interview with Tucker. But also Tucker doesn't work for Fox News. So that's probably why, right? Because this is for Fox.
gonna get to response number 2. That answer there does not really instill confidence in the idea that he won't be a dictator. His response to the idea...
Also, like, that's kind of like giving away, like, the game there, right? He's like, well, Al Capone was indicted because obviously he did crimes, and, like, he got investigated and, you know, ended up being caught. So essentially what you're saying is like you're down that same path.
Or the question of will you abuse power? His response is, quote, "You mean like they're using right now?" There is no abuse of power being used against him. Trump broke the law in multiple ways. He tried to steal the election, not just through his speech on Jan 6. It's what was going on behind the scenes. I've covered this many times. This has been covered in media tons of time. He broke the law. That's why he's being indicted. By the way, if he was anybody else, if he wasn't a former president, he'd already be in jail. So this idea that, he's being targeted is completely insane.
Yeah, like that's bogus too. This is not like a politically motivated whatever. Okay, that's not what's happening here. Like to get to the place where he is right now, you have to gather evidence. You have to show that there's enough evidence to go to trial. You have to convene a grand jury. You have to present that case to the grand jury, and then the grand jury has to vote whether or not this merits an indictment. Like, it's not like the DOJ just woke up and one day and was like, yeah, I guess we're just gonna indict the former president just on like whatever bullshit charges.
The reality is there are kid gloves being used against him because he's a former president. Again, if he was any other citizen, a normal citizen, he'd already be in jail, a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true. Dude has absolutely no respect for any of the gag orders that have been issued. Like, dude should have been in jail.
So this is the idea that he's communicating these charges against him as, an abuse of power against him clearly shows that he cannot wait to become president again and try in jail, or not try. I think he will go through with it, as I'll get to later on with some of this information. He will try and jail his political opponents. It's clear. It's not just clear here. It's clear from what he has stated many times over. It's clear from his own campaign website how he's going to abuse his power. So before I get to that, though, let's get to his second answer here, because it's clear Hannity was not satisfied with the first answer for obvious reasons, and here he tries to get another answer out of Trump.
I want to go back to this one issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances. You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
he's going crazy. Except for day.
Yeah, so I love how like people in the crowd are like, yeah, what? Can we rewind that for a second?
Answer for obvious reasons, and here he tries to get another answer out of Trump.
I want to go back to this one issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances. You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not. That's
drill.
That's not.
No, no.
That's not retribution.
Wait. Yeah, he didn't answer that directly. Also, Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna be, he keeps, we love this guy. He says, you're not gonna be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border and we're drilling. After that.
Wait, yeah, dude, true. All right, listen, okay? This is a known fact. You can literally close the border and start entire oil drilling operations in one day. True. This is a thing that can happen. No, obviously, like this is just a window. This is just a window into his like dictatorial tendencies, and anybody that says like, "Oh, I just need to be dictator for one day," that's not how that plays out. That's not how that plays out. Trump would torch the Constitution during his inaugural speech. Who are we kidding? Yeah, 100%. 100%. And like people are trying to play this off as like, oh, he was just being sarcastic, or like, oh, he was just joking. No, I don't think he's joking. Given his reputation and his history, I don't think he's joking. Because Trump thinks he's on the U.S. Trump administration apprentice edition. Trump needs to be voted off. Well, he needs to not come into power.
That I'm not a dictator.
So that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president. All right.
After that, listen, folks. After 1 day operations of drilling, after 1 day of operations, drilling operations and closing the border, I won't be a dictator anymore. I promise. Okay.
All right. Take a break. Just getting started. We're in beautiful Davenport, Iowa. Donald
Let's go to break.
Trump with us for the hour as Hannity continues. Thank you for being with us.
Hey, Georgia, looking.
Whoa. Yeah.
All right, so I left that clip to go on, a little long there. I wanted to show you the crowd. This is a crowd. Again, this is a town hall. It's funny. It's funny seeing, whether it's CNN or MSNBC really try to fight, and they got their own issues, but they try to fight when it comes to these town halls and say, well, we have this balanced audience, for these debates, for these town halls. And here on Fox News, it's just, they got all the MAGA they could find and stuck them into a room for this town hall. There's a standing ovation. There's no signs there. If you watch the ovation, they slowly stand up. So it's not like there's a sign saying, all of you stand up and clap. No, they decide to stand up and give Trump a standing ovation right after, again.
Yeah, just like, hey, listen, folks, I'm just going to be a dictator for day one to close the border and initiate like drilling operations. But it's fine. It's just 1 day, okay? Just give me like unlimited power for 1 day and it'll be alright. Trump needs bolster ratings to make Trump happy with Fox Town Hall, I guess.
Sidestepping the question about will he be a dictator? Only on day one, though. Only on day one. Trump knows what he's doing here. He is not directly answering the question in terms of, jailing political opponent.
Right, like just to be clear, like it isn't dictatorial to be like, I'm just going to like, not in the sense that like you're going to abuse your power to enact retribution on political opponents. Yeah, I don't think like ordering oil projects makes you a dictator. But the point being is that he said that I do need to be a dictator just for day one to enact all my policies, which also kind of gives you the logic behind it, because like why would you feel the need to say that you need to be a dictator for 1 day to enact policies, right? That means your policies aren't that popular if you need to be a dictator for 1 day to enact your policies or to enact your agenda. Maybe your agenda isn't that popular. That's one point. But yeah, this dude's scary. Because he means it. He's not being sarcastic. He's not being sarcastic by any means.
Opponents. So he didn't deny any of that. But he is saying only on day one, and then mentioning a couple of policies that he supports, without again directly answering the question about will you go after your political opponents. So this is
Also, like, I don't even know what the point of that question is. It's because, like, since the beginning, he was absolutely, and to cheers and applause, threatening to go after political opponents. Remember, the whole, like, thing with the 2016 election was lock her up. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? He's always been in favor of jailing political opponents or enacting retribution against political opponents.
on his campaign website. There's a lot of this stuff. I got just 2 examples here of how he's going to abuse his power. But one of them is, first, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, which just means people that don't agree with Trump. And I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. This is just saying,
Yeah, so, like, this is coming off, like, the idea of Project 2025. They're not kidding. They're not playing around. Mighty Mouse, Mouselander, welcome. They're not playing around. This is for real. At least they think so.
if there are people in government in any position who are not aligned with me completely, they are gone. This is the move of a dictator. Also, when it comes to independent agencies, so President Trump will bring the independent regulatory agencies, such as the FCC and the FTC, back under presidential authority as the Constitution demands, which it doesn't demand, but they're going to use this certain clause to try and claim it demands that to do this. No longer will unelected members of the Washington Swamp be allowed to act as the fourth branch of our republic. He wants full and total.
Also, yeah, this is also like a part or the concept. This is also the concept behind Project 2025, which basically is on the premise that the executive branch does have this authority exclusively and unilaterally.
Control. He clearly wants to be a dictator. He wants complete control. He wants no independent agencies. He wants complete control. He wants the last say on everything. And we're supposed to believe that he's not going to abuse power when he's saying there will be no longer will there be independent agencies. And that's just on, this is mostly on the policy front. We get to this as well. So Mr. Trump and his advisors are making no secret of their intentions, proclaiming them in rallies and on his campaign website, describing them in white papers and openly discussing them. This is amazing. Quote, "What we're trying to do is identify the pockets of independence and seize them." This is this isn't some anonymous quote. This is by from Russell T. Voigt, who ran the Office of Management and Budget in the Trump White House and now runs a policy organization, the Center for Renewing America. They're openly advertising, we are going to eliminate all independence and seize them. The clear abuse of power, openly advertising this. So I go into a lot more in this video. This is from July, when Trump first put all this stuff on his site. So I discuss a bit more of it and go into more examples that are showcased as well. But this is more recent, from November.
The Rational National Inception. David Dole in the David Dole video.
Trump issues sinister threat to root out leftists if elected in 2024. So he's, of course, discussed this in speeches openly. The idea that Hannity here doesn't bring up an example of where Trump, again, he's not a journalist. But if he were a journalist, he would bring up specific examples, quotes from Trump, saying things like this and getting Trump to answer, why did you say this? Are you going to do this? How are you going to do? But of course, Hannity doesn't do this. His way of introing the question is, oh, the media. The media is freaking out about you being a dictator. How about Trump, you yourself have claimed these are various things you have said in...
Well, the thing is, like, even people who are not journalists can, like, at least bring up something. But Hannity's not interested in doing that. Hannity knows all this stuff. Hannity knows the stuff that Trump said. All of this is public information. Hannity's only business is propaganda. He's not a journalist. He's not there to do journalism. He's there to do propaganda. But even then, like, you know, I'm pretty sure that Hannity's well aware of all the stuff that Trump said. He's aware of all the stuff that Trump said and done.
In the way you want to be a dictator, why are you saying these things? Why do you want to be a dictator? Like, it's clear that's what he wants to be, based on the things he has said, based on what is on his own website. Also, Trump and his allies have begun mapping out specific plans for using the federal government to punish critics and opponents should he win a second term, with the former president naming individuals he wants to investigate or prosecute and his associates drafting plans to potentially invoke the Insurrection Act on his first day in office. This is also, I think, why he says day one and then doesn't mention this, but mentions a couple of policies, because this is also part of his day one plan to allow him to deploy the military against civil demonstrations. Of course, he is going to abuse power. And this goes to the Project 2025. There's a massive plan around this.
Which is exactly what I was saying earlier. Man, if he really does that, if he really does invoke the Insurrection Act, if he happens to win the election and people start protesting, yeah, that's not good.
Like, it's open. They're discussing it. So I recommend checking out Humanist Report. My buddy Mike Figueredo here, he broke this down a couple of months ago, discussing Project 2025 and and there's videos of them discussing this openly as well. Like, it's all, and I'm not just recommending it because he's wearing a Rational National t-shirt. See there? RationalNational.com/merch.
Hey, look at that. Man, this all just like went into like a happy like coincidence, like perfect assembly, a perfectly assembled video.
But it's a great video. So he breaks it all down in a way that you can easily digest. So I will link to that below the video as well. This is not just about the Hannity appearance here and this non-response on Hannity on Fox News. This is about the actual plans that are already put in place if Trump becomes president. It's all very open. It's all very clear. And you have an audience here of Trump fans giving it a standing ovation because this is exactly what they want.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, this isn't like new. From like the beginning of Trump's political career, people were cheering on the idea of laying out political opponents on stretchers. Trump was bragging about, you know, back in my day, they would have left on stretchers. I believe I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something to the effect of like, "Oh, if something happens in an altercation, I'll pay your legal fees." Right? Like if you fight, if you get into a fight, I'll pay your legal fees, or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing just off the top of my head. So this is nothing new. The fact that like even in the first time he ever ran, he was basically saying like, "Yeah, I'll send you to jail," to his political opponent. I mean that's kind of like the red flag. The red flags have been there since the beginning. And now that we have kind of that that groundwork laid out, Trump wants to be a king dictator. No one questions him. Yeah, no doubt about it. Here is the Speaker of the House, the second in line to the presidency, the person, the entire Republican House unilaterally voted to be Speaker of the House. So now that we have like the front runner for the Republican Party, who also ended up supporting Mike Johnson's speakership bid. Now that we all have this like nicely laid out here, let's listen to Mike Johnson. Basically, Trump said, if you find Biden supporters, punch them and I'll pay for it. It's something to the effect of, like, no, not Biden supporters. That was in the 2016 election. I'm pretty sure that he was referring to, like, Democrats in general, or I guess at the time Hillary Clinton supporters. I don't know. The point being is that he was basically saying, like, hey, I'll pay your legal fees. Hey, how come? How come that's not working? Really? I can't hear any of this. Is that just with everything? No, this is the video, and like I don't know if you could hear it, but it's very, very low. Let's just see.
House Friday.
Okay, so yeah, YouTube works. Okay, YouTube is definitely working, so I don't know why. I don't know why. Okay, let's see if I can figure this out. Are they pulling the video off the site? No, it's just for some reason none of these videos have any kind of sound. I mean, I'll just play a random one. It's not working. I think it's the web browser, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I could hear it squeaking in the background. It just sounds so freaking low. I don't know. Maybe I can close this new window. And maybe I can bring up no. I guess it's not gonna work. Alrighty. GOP Super Dragon, Marjorie Taylor Greene hints at space lasers. Yeah, Johnson says Moses, the nerve and silliness. Okay. Well, we're just gonna have to go with the transcript, okay? When Johnson took the stage, he thanked the NACL for banning media from the event, claiming that the media loves to pick my comments out of context. Of course, banning the media from attending doesn't accomplish much if the event is live streamed on social media, which is exactly what the NACL founder, James Rappert, did on his Facebook page. Johnson began his remarks by claiming that weeks before he became the House Speaker, God began preparing him to lead the nation through a Red Sea moment. John said he didn't know what that meant at the time, but assumed that it meant that he was to serve as an Aaron to someone else's Moses. But it turned out God intended for him to be that Moses. Oh man, this is so dangerous. This type of this fundamentalism is so freaking dangerous. Like this union between this this Christian fundamentalism, this religious fundamentalism, and Trump's authoritarian tendencies. Because, like, let's be honest, Trump's not really religious himself, but he does like power. The Lord impressed upon my heart a few weeks ago before this happened that something was going to occur, Johnson said, and the Lord very specifically told me in my prayers to prepare, but to wait. Wild. Johnson's remark, claiming that, oh, sorry. I already read this. Trump is religious. He worships himself. No, I meant like this religious. I had this sense that we're going to come to a Red Sea moment in our Republican conference and in the country at large, he continued. God had been speaking to me about this, and the Lord told me to very clearly to prepare and be ready. Johnson said that once Representative McCarthy was removed as Speaker of the House, God began to wake him up in the middle of the night. Oh my God. This is a very normal and hinged occurrence. God began to wake him up in the middle of the night to speak to me, telling me to write things down, plans, procedures, and ideas on how we could pull the Republican conference together. At the time, I assumed the Lord was going to choose a new Moses, and thank you, Lord, you're going to allow me to be Aaron to Moses. As one candidate after another stepped forward to run for speaker, but failed, Johnson said, "The Lord kept telling me to wait." But then at the end, when it was towards the end, the Lord said, "Now step forward." I'm supposed to be Aaron, Johnson said. "No," the Lord said, "step forward." Jesus. Following his remarks, the NACL founder, Jason Rappert, presented Johnson with the Honor and Courage Award along with a piece of the destroyed Ten Commandments monuments that Rappert had placed in front of the Arkansas Capitol in 2017. So it's very obvious to see that you're one of us. The event then closed out as it began with anti-LGBTQ evangelist Andrew Womack calling transgenderism and homosexuality demonic, of course. And again, this is the type of stuff that the Speaker of the House is attending and speaking at, okay? And complain that even when people speak out against these things, they often do so in ways that validate the ungodly. Quote, "I am not against homosexuals, but it is not a godly lifestyle." But you're calling them demonic, dude. We don't have to stand up and say you have a right to be this way. You have a right to practice pedophilia. You have a right to choose to try and change your sex. Those things are demonic. Ah, yes. The age-old trope of queer people being pedophiles. Got it. And of course, I assume we're not going to get any... No, I don't know. Truly deeply disturbing stuff happening. Why is Mike Johnson telling everyone else what to believe? Again, the nerve. Well, he's not just telling everybody what to believe. He and all the religious fundamentalists believe that this is just how the world should be. And it makes him extremely dangerous. And remember, all of the Republicans voted for him to be speaker. All of them. Unilaterally voted for him to be speaker. The second in line to the presidency. So if every single Republican voted for this guy, is it just like safe to say that they're all just the same? That they all fall in line and they all rubber stamp this ideology? Because the answer to that is yes, which is why I keep saying there is fundamentally no difference. Functionally no difference. Third in line, no, second in line. Second in line. The vice president is first in line. Does that make sense? The vice president is first in line behind the president. And then the second in line behind the vice president is the House Speaker. So, point being is, what is the difference? Like, functionally, what is the difference? If this is the leadership of the Republican Party, there is no such thing as moderate Republicans. Fully, GOP sold its soul to Trump, but they were here. A lot of those people were here before Trump. A lot of those people were here before Trump. They were in power before Trump. People like an example, Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell was here long before Trump. What's his excuse? Sadly, the GOP's Trump reality TV series, a presidential edition. But the GOP, like a lot of the GOP, were there before Trump, right? Like there's a significant amount of GOP that is like this that was there before Trump. Like this just didn't happen because Trump is there, right? Like this didn't happen. The switch wasn't just flipped because Trump came along. These people were already like that. It just so happens that Trump provided the environment for them to be as outward as they are. Shifting gears really quickly. Kevin McCarthy. It's now true GOP leadership said to me Trump is the new Super Reagan in 2000. Trump is a new Super Reagan in 2000? Wait, you mean in 2016? I'm not sure. Anyways, the point being is that these people were like this before Trump. These people were here before Trump. So I want to make sure we don't give them any excuse. Like, this is not just a Trump-related phenomenon. This is just like the natural progression of conservatism, right? I've entered this discussion halfway through, but taking a stab at what it's about, there are two different ideas of what drives political realignment. One is supply side and one is demand. As with most things, it's a little bit of both. Trump doesn't drive social change in the U.S., he's just a consequence of it. But political leaders steer these changes by leaning into certain parts. Yeah, I mean, that's just a more elaborated version. What I've said, like, basically, like, Trump just didn't appear and like things were like this. Things were like this, that things were bad enough that set the stage for someone like Trump to come about and opportunists to finally be able to lower the mask, took that opportunity. And here we are. So yeah, this isn't just like Trump came along and like this is just like Trump caused all this. Aldo with the 12 biddies, thank you. McCarthy ain't gonna raise money for the ghouls anymore. True. So following Patrick Henry's announcement that he is not going to be running, Kevin McCarthy to retire from Congress. Like, man, what an embarrassing end, right? What an embarrassing end to this era for McCarthy, anyways. To retire from the Congress at the end of the year after a historic ouster as House Speaker. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is resigning from Congress at the end of the month. He announced Wednesday, ending weeks of speculation about his future after he was ousted from leadership in October. I've decided to depart the House at the end of this year to serve America in new ways. McCarthy wrote in an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal, I know my work is only getting started. McCarthy's departure makes him the latest member to retire amid growing polarization that has made it difficult for Congress to operate. His decision comes a day after Representative Patrick McHenry, who briefly served as temporary speaker following the McCarthy's ouster, also announced that he would leave Congress. Without McCarthy, the Republican slim majority, already weakened after George Santos was expelled from Congress, will shrink yet again, with Republicans holding 220 to Democrats 213. A special election has been set for Santos' seat on February 13th, with the district being considered a toss-up by the Cook Political Report. Hopefully nobody dies, said Marjorie Taylor Greene about the party's majority after McCarthy announced his retirement. Jesus Christ. Firefly, welcome. He's going to become a lobbyist. I mean, hey, not unheard of, and nor would it be surprising, right? McCarthy represents California's 20th district in the central part of the state, stretching from San Joaquin Valley and the southern tip of Sierra Nevadas to the Mojave Desert. It's a reliably red district that includes his hometown of Bakersfield. McCarthy recently indicated that he's been going through stages of grief since Souster and did not want to make a rash decision about his future. If I decide to run again, I want to know, I have to know in my heart that I'm giving 110%. I have to know that I want to do that. McCarthy recently said in the New York Times Dealbook Summit. I also have to know if I'm going to walk away, then I'm going to be fine with walking away. If you just got thrown out of speaker, you go through different stages, would you not? He added, yeah, but bro, my dude, my brother in Christ, okay? You literally set the environment for this to happen, dude. If you had just let in the leopards who promised that they wouldn't eat your face, and then they end up eating your face, you'd go through different stages, would you not? Like, come on, dude. Dude's really surprised Pikachu face at, like, the leopards who literally threatened to eat his face ended up eating his face, and now he's all surprised Pikachu face. Okay. I want to know it's the right thing to do, and then if I'm walking away from something that I spent 2 decades at, I don't want to look back and say I made an emotional decision. White House Press Secretary John Beer congratulated McCarthy on his long career in Congress. The president wishes Speaker McCarthy well and congratulates him on a career of service. Why would you even make that? Why would you even make that statement or have your press secretary make that statement? This makes zero sense. Whatever. Honestly, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing from the Biden administration. There's no need and no point. And plus, he just genuinely doesn't deserve it. He is a genuine ghoul. He doesn't deserve any of this, and quite frankly, the Biden administration shouldn't even be making statements like this. The president wishes Speaker McCarthy well and congratulated him on a career of service while they have important differences about policy. Important differences about policy. The president appreciates that they were able to work across the aisle. Oh, man. We need a strong Republican Party. They're all friends after all. Yeah, I mean, bipartisanship, phenomenal stuff. McCarthy was elected to Congress in 2006, hold the top position for 9 months before a deal he made to secure the speakership that led to his downfall. He had fight to win the gavel when Republicans took control of the House in January, included 15 rounds of votes, and foreshadowed the limits of his power over a fractured party. To be fair, I think the White House has a chat bot that puts these out. No, this is like the secretary, I think. Yeah, that's true, Holy City. Just class solidarity. To win support of the far right, he agreed to a rule allowing a single member to trigger a no confidence vote to remove the speaker. That came back to haunt him when fellow Republican Matt Gaetz introduced that resolution to do just that. This was after McCarthy relied heavily on the votes of Democrats to temporarily avert a government shutdown in September. 8 Republicans voted with all Democrats to remove McCarthy, making it the first time in U.S. history a House Speaker was ousted by such a motion. Oh, you're being sarcastic. Sorry, it just went right over my head. His successor, Mike Johnson, had made similar decisions since taking over, including relying on Democrats to avert a shutdown, but so far has avoided McCarthy's fate. McCarthy has not hidden his disdain for Republicans who voted for his removal, telling CNN last month that Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina did not deserve to be reelected and the Republican Party would benefit tremendously if Gaetz was not in Congress. Yeah, I mean, you can expel him too. He also questioned the motives of Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee. They care a lot about press, not about policy, and they seem to just want the press and the personality. I should have put a smiley. Well, I mean, you did. It just didn't register, I guess. Burchett later accused McCarthy of elbowing him in the back of the Capitol Hill hallway in retaliation for the vote, which McCarthy denied. If I were to hit somebody, they would know I hit them. Jesus, dude. Relax, bro. On Wednesday, Johnson praised McCarthy for helping Republicans secure the majority and lifting restrictions that have been implemented in Congress during the COVID pandemic. He wishes McCarthy the best and says he served faithfully and sacrificed substantially for the good of our country and our cause. It's like losing Michael Jordan, said Representative Tom Cole. Majority Leader Steve Scalise said that McCarthy's leadership would be missed around here. McCarthy did not give him a heads up about the announcement. Kenny McCarthy, the MAGA personality, and then complains. Well, I mean, they're all like, there's no distinction between Republicans and MAGA. It's just the Republican Party. That is just them. I would like him to stay, but it's kind of hard to ask somebody to stay after they've weighed some longer-term decisions. He was going to have some really good options in the next phase of his life. The maturity level of these people is astounding. Here's a question, like, is like, nonetheless, like, good riddance, like, but the question then becomes, like, is somebody worse going to, like, replace him? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, because, like, all these people are pretty freaking bad. All these people are literal ghouls, so I guess it doesn't matter. Good riddance. Oh, I missed this one.
Rally in Iowa. During his rally in Iowa over this past weekend, Donald Trump issued a direct call to action to his supporters, telling them that they had to, quote, go into cities across the country in next year's elections to, make sure everything's on the level, which many
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Yes, but it's good because McCarthy was a good fundraiser, so now they lose that. So good and bad. Well, I guess more good than bad, I guess, right? If that's the case.
Experts have already come out and said that this is 100% Donald Trump telling people to go engage in voter intimidation. Here's what Trump said in Iowa. They cheated like hell and they know it. And you'll never find out all the ways, but we don't need all the ways.
What? What are you talking about? They cheated like hell and they know it. What are you talking about?
Most important part of what's coming up is to guard the vote. The most important part of what's coming up is to guard the vote, and you should go into Detroit, and you should go into Philadelphia, and you should go into some of these places, Atlanta, and you should go into some of these places, and we got to watch those votes when they come in. We're like a third world nation, and we can't let it happen.
Yeah, that's like a complete call to action that like his deluded supporters would actually do. And notice how like these are like usually democratic strongholds. So like what would the point be other than voter intimidation, right? Like why would you go into like a democratic stronghold and be like, oh yeah, they're definitely going to swing the vote in favor of Democrats. Dude. Trump is such a humble brag. No, this isn't bragging. This is a call to action. For voter intimidation.
No, we're a third world nation if we allow what you're telling your supporters to go do to happen. That's a third world nation. Having a man who wants to be a dictator send his little, flying monkeys out there to go and intimidate and harass.
Also, like, this comes off the back of, like, him saying, like, oh, I would never, I don't want to be a dictator just for one day, though. Are you serious? Also, if you do see something, like, say something, okay? Like, don't be afraid of these people. Okay, don't be intimidated of these people. If you see something, like, say something, okay? If you see these clowns engaging in voter intimidation and you are trying to exercise your right to vote, say something. I'm afraid that 2024. I'm so afraid that 2024 will be bloody. I'm right there with you, Mouselander. These people are not above doing stuff like that. These people are not above violence. We saw firsthand that these people are not above violence. And you have this guy, this authoritarian, literally saying to his people, to his cult members, to go show up and engage in what can only be described as voter intimidation. That's a recipe for disaster. But yeah, if you do, exactly, if you do see something, say something, report them. Report them to the poll workers, report them to the guards that are there. Don't be afraid of these clowns. At the end of the day, they are cowards. Nothing more. I just don't want to push things back a few decades, but a few centuries. Yeah. Trump is now saying guard the vote. He's got enough, and he's got enough votes, so diluted and dangerous. Well, that's definitely dangerous and diluted. Yes, because it'd be one thing if like Trump is just like screaming this at the wind. The problem is he has a sizable amount of supporters, and it is not inconceivable that they may hear this as a call to action and act on this.
Harass people while they are voting. That's what he wants these people to do. And this is not, by the way, like some of the other things Trump has said, where it's kind of this veiled thing of, oh, well, he's not necessarily inciting it because he didn't use these words. He's just using code words, to get his supporters riled up. This is different. He directly told them, go into Atlanta, go into Philadelphia.
Yeah, like he's even naming specific cities, which again, it doesn't even make any sense because these are Democratic strongholds. So what would be the point? Like you would be like watching all these like Dem votes and being like, oh wow, a Democratic stronghold, no shit. But I'm pretty sure someone is whispering in Trump's ear to keep the energy up. No, I think his narcissism explains explains this away really easily. It literally just might be him. It might be the other way around. Trump just keeps people in his orbit that are yes men. I think Trump is more than capable of feeling this way and acting and being responsible for these actions. And these words, I should say.
Yeah. Go into these cities, he said. That's a direct order. That is a direct order from Donald Trump. There is no denying it. There is no way to skew that any other way. He is telling people to go and do this. And these are unhinged people, right? And here's the thing. He wasn't talking to a group of lawyers when he said this. He wasn't talking to a group of peace activists when he said this. He was talking to a group of right-wing, unhinged, potentially dangerous individuals who will do whatever he says and more if they believe it's what he wants them to do. So how many incidents are we going to see in next year's election when Trump supporters show up at polling places and start harassing people, or become violent with people, or pull out a gun?
Yeah. Like what happened, I think it was the midterms. There's armed people that showed up. It's not exactly inconceivable that these things might escalate.
I think we will see that. I 100% believe those things are going to happen next year because of what Trump said here. The only silver lining in that is that because he said the words outright, directed them to go into these cities, if these happen, we can 100% hold Donald Trump legally liable for it.
Well, we'll see if they want to do that. I mean, I agree. Of course, he should be held liable for it. Not just like, not just that. Like he needs to go to jail for this type of stuff. I wish a mofo would. You know what's funny? Mofo was the auto-modded word. Apparently it was auto-modded for bullying. I don't know. Welcome to Ponder Monkey.
It's not much of a silver lining, but it's the best we got. Ring of Fire.
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing. This is pretty disturbing because like it just continues. It just makes me think that like, man, the chances for things to escalate, not further than what we've seen them, is a little bit higher than I'd like than I'm comfortable with. I'm a bully. Sorry. I don't know what's Automod does. Like Automod sometimes like stops like the most innocuous things. I have no idea. Instead of January 6th, it's November 5th for 2024 for possible violence. I mean, it may be the case that there might be situations of voter intimidation. This is not conspiracy. These people have shown up at polling places with firearms before, or around polling places, I should say. I mean, if it happens to be the case, I've said this before. If it happens to be the case that Biden manages to eke out a victory, and it's a very tight election, these people are going to see it as another stolen election. That's how they're already primed to see it. If Donald Trump manages to lose that election, and Biden ekes out a victory, it's a very close election as it is, and Biden just manages to eke out a victory. I mean, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. None of that got automated. All right, folks, before we continue finishing up with the news, let's take a little victory lap, huh?
I want to just take...
You see, this video works. I don't know why that other video just wasn't working. But anyways, why don't we all as a chat just take a little victory lap, okay?
I want to just take... Wow, Bradley. Really? That's good.
Ambulance.
I want to just take this time to thank the people who make the whole Discord work. I'm talking about Comrade Wolf.
Nice.
From the River to the Sea, Geek Wonk. Oh, I guess I had to read both of their things. But Cynthiism, Cold Case, Somnolux, Cat Sense, Sam Cedar, that's number 7124. JMO, A Difficult Truth.
Oh! Look at that. What's happening? I got a little live shout out. A little live shout out. Look at that, chat. We're all taking a victory. We're all taking a victory lap on this one, okay? You'll be a star soon.
A Difficult Truth.
Look at that.
Nug Wrangler or Noog Wrangler? I never get that right.
You got it the first time.
Nug Wrangler? Okay.
It's for all intents and purposes, because okay, so the story behind that is Sam has been reading Nug Wranglers IMs for years now, and he always says Noog Wrangler. So it forever will always be Noog Wrangler, okay? Exactly. Noog! Welcome, Jesse James. CBS reports Senate GOP blocks the Ukraine aid bill. Oh, no.
Armenes and anodyne quinine. Thank you so much, guys. What just amazing. 10,000 people. And it's a great resource. So many people have told me that whether it's
Yeah. So that's the thing that happened. That's a very that's a totally a thing that happened. Also, like it's more of like it's more of like an homage. Obviously, I'm very I don't know if you can tell, but I think there may have been some influences, you know. So it's just a little bit more of a homage and fanboying a little bit. I just love it when real news sources have to read people's handles. I don't have like a really funny handle, so I can't like riff off that, but having to read IMs from username Noog Wrangler. It's pretty funny to me. There's video issues since 6 p.m. today on many sites. Wow. So, it's just Twitter. It's been parodied before, true. Let's go Nuggets, chicken nuggets. U.S. charges Russians with war crimes for allegedly torturing Americans. In Ukraine, 4 Russian soldiers are accused of abducting and torturing an American citizen. Yeah, see, like, this video just, like, never, it just doesn't work. What about this one?
We love this guy. He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, no, other than day one.
Yeah, so, I guess, yeah. It's just this account. For some reason, the video isn't working anymore. Oh, well. It is what it is. White House warns Congress on Ukraine. We're out of money and we're nearly out of time, or we don't have health care. Yeah, we don't have health care. And rare act. Hey, whoa, come back. In a rare action against Israel, U.S. says extremist West Bank settlers will be barred from America. That's not Ukraine's fault. You're right. It's our government's fault for not providing healthcare and instead sending how many billions? How many billions? Instead of providing healthcare. Someone was attacking Biden for fundraising while this stuff is going on. I say the only thing he's useful for is beating Trump, so let him do it. Fundraise, yeah. Yeah, we talked about Patrick Henry during the Kevin McCarthy article. In a rare punitive move against Israel, the State Department said Tuesday it will impose travel bans on extremist Jewish settlers implicated in a rash of recent attacks on Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced the step after warning Israel last week that President Biden's administration would be taking action over the attacks. Blinken did not announce individual visa bans, but department spokesman Matthew Miller said the bans would be implemented starting on Tuesday and will cover dozens of settlers and their families, with more to come if the settler violence continues. He wouldn't give a number and refused to identify any of those targeted due to confidentiality reasons. The decision comes at a sensitive moment in the U.S.-Israeli in a sensitive moment in U.S. Israeli relations, the Biden administration has firmly backed Israel since it was attacked by Hamas on October 7th, even as international criticism of Israel has mounted. The Israeli embassy in Washington declined to comment on this development. In the recent weeks, the administration has stepped up calls for Israel to do more to limit civilian casualties as the Israelis expand their offensive and target densely populated southern Gaza. The U.S. has refrained from outright criticism of that offensive. It has been increasingly outspoken, however, about settler violence in the West Bank and Israel's failure to respond to U.S. calls to stop it. I mean, I already provided the solution to this. It's basically calling up Netanyahu and saying, "Listen, bro, if you don't stop, we're gonna just make a public announcement, and yep, we're gonna make a public announcement, a big public announcement." Saying that we're no longer going to provide any funds or military aid to Israel. And how do you like them apples? We have underscored to the Israeli government the need to do more to hold accountable extremist settlers who have committed violent acts against Palestinians in the West Bank. As President Biden has repeatedly said, those attacks are unacceptable. The UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs on Monday since the October 7th, at least 8 Palestinians in the West Bank have been killed by settlers. The UN agency said it recorded 314 attacks by settlers that have resulted in Palestinian casualties, causing casualties, damage to Palestinian-owned property, or both. 1/3 of the attacks included threats with firearms, including shootings, and in nearly half of the attacks, the settlers were accompanied or actively supported by Israeli forces. I mean, Jesus. Today, the State Department is implementing a new visa restriction policy targeting individuals who have been believed to be involved in undermining peace, security, or stability in the West Bank, including through committing acts of violence or taking other actions that unduly restrict civilians' access to essential services and basic necessities. He said the U.S. would continue to seek accountability for settler violence against Palestinians as well as Palestinian attacks against Israelis in the West Bank and Israel, particularly as tensions are extremely high due to the conflict in Gaza. Both Israel and the Palestinian Authority have responsibility to uphold stability in the West Bank. Instability in the West Bank both harms Israeli and Palestinian people and threatens Israel's national security interests. Well, I mean, like, dude, talk to the people who are literally leveling the entire place. Tuesday's move just comes after a month after comes just a month after Israel's granted entry into the U.S. visa waiver program, which allows its citizens visa-free entry into the U.S. Those targeted by the action will not be eligible for the program, and those who hold current U.S. visas will have them revoked. Stopping the guy who refuses to say he won't try to become dictator seems to be important. Well, I don't disagree with that. Not to mention, even without the war, it was a humanitarian nightmare, garbage-filled streets, dirty water. Yeah, all of that, which, again, before this, like, Israel is the one that had this area effectively blockaded. So all these conditions were there because, well, the Israeli government decided to make it so. Dictator on day one, golf the rest of the term. He wants to be dictator so he can just play golf. No, I don't think so. Fake Trump electors settle civil lawsuit in Wisconsin and agree that President Biden won. Golf Hitler. 10 Republicans who pose as fake electors for former President Trump in Wisconsin and filed paperwork falsely saying that he had won the battleground state have settled a civil lawsuit A golf. Have filed paperwork falsely saying that he had won the battleground state, have settled a civil lawsuit, and admitted their actions were part of an effort to overturn Biden's victory. Attorney who filed the case announced Wednesday today. Under the agreement, the fake electors acknowledged that Biden won the state, withdrew their filings, and agreed not to serve as presidential electors in 2024 or any other election where Trump is on the ballot. The 10 fake electors agreed to send a statement to the government office that receives the Electoral College vote, saying that their actions are part of an attempt to improperly overturn the 2020 presidential election results. I mean, like, this is about as explicit as it gets. These people, like, admitted to it in writing that this is what they this is what they aim to do. Trump wants to become president so he can undo the previous election, say he was elected for a second term, which would make him ineligible to be in office for his third term. He's a confused man. Yeah, I mean, narcissism does as narcissism does, right? He thinks he didn't lose. He's not capable of losing. He's not capable of doing anything wrong. And if he did do something wrong, it's not his fault. It's everyone else's fault except him. The settlement marks the first time that any Trump electors have revoked their filings sent to Congress to report that Trump had won in 7 battleground states. Nevada on Wednesday became the 3rd state to criminally charge fake electors, following Georgia and Michigan. Trump faces charges in Georgia and in a federal investigation of his conduct related to the January Capitol insurrection. The settlement was announced by the Law Forward, Georgetown University Law Center's Institute for Constitutional Advocacy and Protection, and the Madison-based Stafford Rosenbaum law firm. Americans believe in democracy and that idea that the people choose their leaders through elections, said Jeff Mandel, one of the attorneys who brought the case on behalf of the Democratic voters, including 2 who served as Biden electors. The defendant's actions violated those bedrock principles, and we brought this case to ensure that they are held accountable. There's no known criminal investigation ongoing in Wisconsin. Democratic Attorney General Josh Kaul has signaled that he's relying on federal investigators to look into what happened in Wisconsin while not ruling out a state probe. Democrats brought the lawsuit last year seeking $2.4 million in damages from 10 Republicans who submitted a document to Congress falsely declaring Trump as the 2020 election winner. In Wisconsin, they also sued 2 of Trump's attorneys, including one who has already pleaded guilty to other charges stemming from the 2020 election in Georgia. I see it now. Why the Christians trump what you described is basically the same deal God gets and can do no wrong. It's always the devil's fault. Oh, okay. Why the Christians love Trump? Yeah, I mean, essentially, like, that's it, because it's like a cult mentality, right? The case was scheduled to go to trial by jury in September of 24, 2 months before the presidential election. Under the deal, the fake electors don't pay any damages or attorney fees, and there's no admission of wrongdoing or liability. Jesus. The Wisconsin GOP electors have long said they were partaking in the plan. In a case, a court later ruled that Trump had won the state. One of the fake electors, former Wisconsin State Republican Chairman Andrew Hitt, repeated that position in a statement on Wednesday. The Wisconsin electors were tricked and misled into participating in what became the alternate elector scheme and would have never taken any action had we known there was an ulterior reason behind preserving an ongoing legal strategy. It said he'd been working with the Justice Department since May of 2022 and will not be supporting Trump in 2024. The fake elector plan hatched in 7 battleground states were central to the federal indictment. It filed against Trump earlier in August that alleged he tried to overturn the 2020 election. Federal prosecutors said the scheme originated in Wisconsin. Fake electors met in Wisconsin and 6 other states where Trump was defeated in 2020 and signed certificates that falsely stated Trump, not Biden, had won their states. The fake certificates were ignored. One of the attorneys named in the Wisconsin lawsuit, Ken Chesbro, pleaded guilty to a felony charge of conspiracy to committing false documents after being charged with participating in efforts to overturn Trump's loss in Georgia. Chesbro was charged alongside Trump with 17 others, violating the state's anti-racketeering law. The Wisconsin lawsuit cites a memo Chesbro sent to Trump's attorney in Wisconsin, Jim Tropis, in November of 2020, detailing this elector plan. Under the settlement, the 10 fake electors promised to assist the Department of Justice with its ongoing investigation. They also agreed to help the Democrats as they continued their lawsuit against Tropis and Chesbro. Tropis and Chesbro did not return the voicemail message seeking for comment. The fake electors also released nearly 600 pages of documents related to a scheme under terms of settlement. Those show that one Republican involved with the fake elector plot texting another, referring to their actions declaring Trump the winner of Wisconsin as a possible steal. Jesus Christ. The senators said they were felt compelled to go along with the plan, or else Trump supporters would be upset and there would be a target on my back. Jesus Christ. Like, man, I mean, is it like any more explicit than that? I had no idea it was illegal to subvert an election. That's their defense. Their defense is like, I didn't know that, like, the legal theory that we were, you know, operating under was not correct. Yeah, essentially. Because, like, they're trying to hide behind the idea that, like, their actions of presenting alternative electors is legal and correct. Government and outside investigations have uniformly found that there was no evidence of widespread voter fraud that could have stolen the election from Biden. Oh, typo. AP messed this up over here. Look at that. Biden swung the election from Biden. Trump has continued to spread falsehoods about the 2020 election. Electors are people who are appointed to represent the voters in the presidential elections. The winner of the popular vote in each state determines which party's electors are sent to the Electoral College, which meets in December after the election to certify the outcome. So this is where we're at, folks. For all the cries of the Democrats trying to steal the election, it just so happens it's another case of every accusation is just a confession. So to nobody's surprise, look at that. It was the Republican Party trying to steal the election. Stop our steal. Folks, Hambliss with the tier 1 sub for 8 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Folks, it is time. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the biddies. Thank you for the subscriptions. You guys are what makes this channel grow. I appreciate that, Hambliss. Thank you to Michael Hassler. Thank you, Heat, for being in the chat and keeping the chat chill. Once again, folks, if you guys want to support the channel but cannot do so monetarily, head on over to the YouTube channel. It really does help us out. Hit the big red subscribe button. Also, folks, don't forget, join the Discord if you want to keep up with the channel. At the end of the month, and literally the end of the month, I think it's the last Saturday of December, we will have a holiday themed movie going on, holiday themed movie, and this is going to be an attempted schedule of every Saturday, or the last Saturday, I should say, of the month, to just kind of do movie nights or whatever, as we can in the Discord. So, hey, feel free to join, and it's just a nice little comfy place to be in. So even so, or hey, just join the Discord just to keep up with the channel. Sometimes alerts don't always pop up, notifications don't always pop up. Discord's another way, just another way to make sure that you know what's going on with the channel. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it, Jesse James. Thank you so much. Take care. Thank you, Hambliss. I appreciate it. And thank you for the support. As always, folks, thank you guys so much. Please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you. See ya. Have a good night. Ground level news, thank you. Hang tight, folks. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.